Hi, my name's Tim. I'm the Tinkering Turtle. Today we're going to do a review for the Himiway A7 Commuter City Bike. I've got about 186 miles on the bike as to the date of this review. I'm going to do a full review on it today. I'm going to go over features. I'm going to talk about my thoughts on the bike and how much myself and my wife, who's 5'6", enjoyed it. And we're going to give you a good understanding of what you get for the cost of the bike. First, let's look at some video of me riding it around town over the last couple of weeks. Well, that was a lot of fun. We've really enjoyed this bike. My wife loves the way that the handlebar height fits to the seat. She is 5'6", and this bike fits her perfectly. This bike accommodates riders from 5'3" to 6'1", and I will tell you that 6'1" is probably the upper limit for one main reason. Because they have an integrated shock in the bike, the seat post can only be 180 millimeters as it comes out of the box. The problem with that means you can't lift this up past a certain point. So someone my height, 6'3", sets on this, I can't get a full leg extension when I'm riding the bike because of the seat height. Even if I bring it up to its very max, I can't get a full leg extension as I pedal the bike. What I do plan on doing is in the future, I'm going to get a new seat post and a seat, and I'm going to try to set it up so it accommodates my wife's height at 5'6", but goes up a little taller than this particular seat post allows and accommodates my size of 6'3" as well. The other thing about this bike is it can carry up to 330 pounds. That's rider and luggage. So it is a very hefty bike. Me at 280 pounds, never had an issue with the power on it, and it never had any kind of problem squeaking or anything with me because I am a heavier guy, like I said, 280 pounds, and I didn't have any issue at all. So it's a pretty phenomenal bike. It's extremely well built, and it's something that can easily accommodate most riders. It comes with a step through height of about 20 inches, but there is quite a bit of room here. So it is pretty simple still to get on and off, but that is a little bit of a taller step through. So be aware of that. You're going to have to be able to lift your foot a little over 20 inches. Some of the details of the bike, it comes with a 48 volt, 15 amp hour battery that will get you out of the box around 50 miles. They have taken this bike up to 80 miles under certain conditions, and they do detail out those conditions on the website. It comes with a 500 watt motor that peaks out at around 900 watts. Plenty of power for the weight that it's able to handle. Going up and over hills was never a problem. Acceleration was never a problem. The bike performed excellent. It is a full suspension bike, so you'll find that it does have a rear shock absorber that is adjustable. It also has a front shock absorber, which is pretty standard on most bikes, but the combination of both lets you know that you're not going to need a whole lot to add to this bike after you get it set up. It comes with a very sturdy luggage rack that can accommodate an MLK or MIK removable rack, and it actually comes with the hardware to mount that out of the box. Now mine didn't come with that actual rack, but you can order it from Himiway. It has Shimano M200 hydraulic disc brakes with 180 millimeter brake rotors. The braking on this bike is exceptional. Neither me nor my wife had any kind of an issue with it. It stopped on a dime when you needed to, whether you're using one brake or two. It comes with 27.5-inch Kenda street tires. And I have to say these tires are nice. They've got a nice thick rubber on the top, so I never had to worry about any kind of punctures. They're 2.5 inches wide, and even going over railroad tracks, as long as you were hitting them square, I never had any kind of problem. Both the front and rear fenders are aluminum. I like aluminum fenders over plastic. They tend to flex and move less, and I just think it makes a more quality build. The shifter on this bike is slightly different than I've used before. It's got a pinching type shifter where the front one here over the top of the handlebars takes the gears up, and the back one takes the gears down. So if you want to go up through 1 through 8, you'll use this, and go down 8 through 1, you use this one. It comes standard with a bell, which is a hammer striker, which is kind of nice, and has a integrated thumb throttle that integrates into the controller. The controller comes with a power button, plus, minus, and an adjustment button for your screen, your settings on your screen. Now the plus button, if you hold it down, it'll turn on your headlight, and the minus button, if you hold it down, it'll turn it into walk mode, and you can have the bike have some power as you walk it along. It comes with a color LCD screen, which shows a lot of information. Probably not going to go over that in this video, but it's really nice. I did add a mirror to the bike for my own safety, because I like to see what's behind me. The bike comes with an adjustable stem, which allows you to raise or lower the handlebars to the rider's preference. They offer the Himiway bike in red, blue, or white colors. I chose the red. I wanted something a little bit more striking, and the paint color on this is so nice. It's like almost a pearl red with just a light metallic in it. It's beautiful paint. Comes well protected, so I am super excited about the way this bike looks from a color standpoint. It comes with a nice plush seat. As you can see, there's lots of flex in it, so it's really comfortable. Unless you're going on a super long ride and have a specific need, this seat is more than everything you need. I mean, we ride 15 to 20 miles a night, and this seat never once caused me any issues. The other really cool part of this bike that I think is way underrated is the fact that you can change the type of riding sensor you have. It comes with a sensor that can be switched between torque or speed, and I will interchange speed and cadence a lot because they're kind of the same thing. But for this video, I'm just going to try to use speed. So the speed sensor, just all that does is when you're pedaling the bike, it senses that the pedals are moving, and it'll give you whatever assist level that you've asked for. 100%. It'll ramp up into that level and stay at that level. That's kind of a cool thing. But then you can also switch into torque sensor. And what a torque sensor does, depending how hard you push on the pedals, it'll adjust the amount of assist it gives to you based on the levels that you have set on the screen. So if I set it to, say, turbo, and I'm riding along and I want a little bit more power, I push the pedal harder, and that torque sensor is going to say, oh, he's pushing harder, he wants more power, he's going to give me more assist. That's a really cool feature, and I think it's really underrated. They tend to use torque sensors as you're going up and down hills a lot more, because as you put more effort in, it's going to help you up the hill a little better. But the other thing I found with torque sensors is that it gives you a little better exercise as well. Your legs do a little bit more work. If you need to catch up to the bike in front of you a little bit, you'll just push a little harder with your legs. So you do tend to get a little better workout with the torque sensor. Now, if you switch it back to the speed sensor, that's nice for just cruising around, like say our area here in West Michigan, where we got a lot of bike paths. We can ride down to the beach. You sit up nice and tall on this bike, and you can just cruise. And for cruising, the speed sensor makes a lot of sense. I have to say that the build quality on this bike, the quality of the components is exceptional. I haven't found one thing where I thought it was chintzy or cheap or anything. It's just a really solid bike. So how much is this bike? This bike retails around $1,799. Excellent price, for the build quality you're getting, I have to admit. And plus, with all the features that come with the bike, the only thing I added was a mirror. Everything else came standard. The seat post, the adjustable stem, everything to make this a very comfortable and riding bike comes right to you out of the box. The only thing I did is add the mirror for safety factor so I can see behind me without trying to turn around. That's the only thing I've done to this bike. So what are my thoughts on riding this bike? Again, I told you we put almost 200 miles on it in the last couple of weeks. My wife and I have been trading off. A couple idiosyncrasies about riding this bike. One thing I noticed in cadence mode or speed mode, I'm not sure if it was in the torque mode or not, but when you press the thumb throttle, there was about a second delay before the bike took off. And it took off with a nice even power band. It didn't jerk you or anything. It was a nice even, it eased you into it, which was really cool. But that second delay was kind of odd to me. As a long-time rider, I think I would prefer a little bit power, a little bit quicker. So I'm going to go through the settings and see if I can find a way to adjust that. And if I do, I'll do another video. But for newer riders, I have to say, I think that's not a horrible thing. It allows them to start pedaling a little bit before the power kicks in. The other thing I noticed is when I would get going with the throttle and then I would let off and start pedaling, there was that same delay, about a second, as you started pedaling, and then the power would kick on. So that is something to be aware of out of the box. That's the way it comes. If I can find a way to adjust that, I'll do a future video and show you. But it is something that I've noticed very much on this bike, and I haven't noticed on a lot of my other Himiway bikes. Riding the bike itself was very pleasant. It's got a high quality build, aluminum fenders, and all the connectors are really nice. I don't think I'm going to have any issues with this bike. The power out of the 500 watt motor is very smooth. It gives me plenty of power to get even some with my weight and the bike weight up to speed without any issue. Just so you know, the bike is about 63 pounds, I think it was, without the battery in it, and it went up to a little over 70 with the battery in. So it's not a particularly heavy bike. And I think that allows Himiway to put a 15 amp hour battery in it and still get really good mileage. That, coupled with the fact that you're dealing with a 500 watt motor that just peaks out higher, I think you're going to get that extended performance from a battery standpoint. Now, I personally have rode this bike up and down a lot of hills. It has not been any kind of an issue. Just like all hills with all my bikes, I speed up before I get there and I pedal up the hill, and there's no hill, even the steeper ones, I haven't had problems getting up and over. The shifter was new to me, but once I got used to doing the pinch shifter, it was actually kind of nice because I knew when I wanted to gear down, I would just use my thumb, and when I wanted to gear up, I'd use my middle two fingers to change the gears on the bike. Usually I'll put my thumb throttle on the right side, but even having it on the left side, it's just something you get used to. And once you got used to it, when I got on my other Himiway bike, it was kind of like trying to figure it out again. So it's one of those things, don't worry about which side stuff's on. You're going to get used to it really quick, and it just becomes second nature after the first or second ride. I will say that this bike feels like more than a $1,799 bike. The quality of the components, everything that comes standard on this bike, I would expect on most bikes to put a little extra money in, buying an adjustable stem, getting some sort of rear suspension. This bike comes with a standard all for under $2,000, which is ridiculously good. If you are looking for a quality bike for commuting or cruising around your area, or you want something that's flexible to do both, this is an excellent choice. I have to admit, I'm very happy Himiway offered it to me for a review, and I'm excited about riding this into the future. I don't know that there's much else I can say about the bike. It's really fun to ride. It's got plenty of power, plenty of distance, and it's got all high quality components. Brakes are excellent, the power systems are excellent, and it's very simple to adjust. Even if you want to switch between the cadence and the torque sensor, you simply log into the screen using your M button on your controller, punch in a code to get in, and then you go right to the setting and switch it. It's really simple. So excellent bike, beautiful color. I like the lines of the bike. It's very comfortable to ride. I can't really say too much bad about it. It's just got a really nice feel to it. The 2.5 inch tires, I typically like a fat tire, but the 2.5-inch tires are really nice. I mean, I've gone over lots of railroad tracks. I just hit them square. You don't ever try to hit them at an angle. You don't want to obviously flip your bike. I don't even do that with my fat tire bikes, but I've never had a problem. I didn't have any problems with that at all. So it's a really nice bike. What Himiway's put together here is a bike that's well packaged, easy to assembly, and fun to ride, and it gives you flexible with all kinds of different riding. And I think that's a wonderful choice. Check it out. Go to the website. I'll have a link in the description below, and see what you think about the features and the specs on this bike. I don't think you're going to be disappointed ever going with something like this. It's got a lot of going for it. Anyway, I appreciate you watching till the end. I'm Tim, the Tinkering Turtle, and I'll catch you next time.